Why play Trundle in the jungle? Well, he is an amazing duelist. His abilities give him a huge amount of stats. His ultimate has the ability to make a tank into a squishy, and his passive keeps him incredibly healthy. However, he can get kited, especially if his abilities are on cooldown, and he does rely on having a tanked ultimate on to keep himself tanky. Trundle's passive heals him whenever an enemy unit dies nearby, which gives him amazing sustain. Trundle's Q is an auto attack reset, which makes his next attack deal additional damage and apply a brief slow. In addition, when used, Trundle gains a chunk of attack damage, and the target loses a smaller chunk of attack damage too. Trundle's W creates a frozen area for 8 seconds. While inside, he gains movement speed, attack speed, and gets increased healing. Trundle always wants to fight inside this. Trundle's E creates a pillar of ice for 6 seconds. Enemies hit by the pillar are knocked back, and nearby enemies are slowed. Trundle's ultimate is a point-and-click ability. When used on an enemy champion, it drains their life force, dealing a large amount of maximum health damage and stealing 40% of their armor and magic resist over 5 seconds. This makes Trundle very tanky, and it makes the tank very squishy. For combos, Trundle wants to use pillar behind the target and throw down a W. After this, basic attack into Q into more basic attacks for your maximum combo. When going for the all-in, after using E and W, use your ultimate before starting the basic attack into Q. This makes you way tankier and makes them far easier to kill. For Masteries, go for this. Lethal tempo in combo with this W is absolutely brilliant. For build orders, start Red Knife refillable before getting Divine Sunderer, Tier 2 boots, and a Titanic Hydra. After this, get any of these as needed before finishing a build with any of these. For skill orders, start Q, then W, then E before maxing Q, then W, then E, taking ult whenever you can. For summoners, take Flash and Smite. Ghost can also work quite well with him. Starting the game, you're looking to power farm your first clear before contesting a Scuttle Crab. If you find an opposing jungler contesting your Scuttle Crab, between your passive keeping your health very high and your ability to make a zone of absolute terror with your W, along with the fact you'll steal some of their AD, you will usually win the fight. From here, you have multiple options. Firstly, you can gank. As always, consider the 3 main points of what CC does my team have, what escapes do they have, and where is the lane pushed to when considering which lane to gank. When ganking, try to save your pillar as late as possible, and instead use the speed of your W to engage on the enemy. If they flash early, the pillar is still great CC and can still get you the kill. Otherwise, if you start pillar early, you'll quite often get a flash out of them, which means you can come back soon for the kill. Your second option is to invade. If you're against an AD champion, your ability to steal their AD and the damage you put out with your W is incredibly hard to match. Especially when you hit level 6 and you can steal all their tank stats, you are impossible to 1v1. Entering the mid game, you are the jungler, so you do want to be fighting for every objective. Trundle is amazing in 2v2s and 3v3s, being able to provide an insane amount of value inside his W, and his ability to make anything tanky very squishy with his ultimate catches many teams off guard. Keep looking for picks with pillars and speed ups and convert these into your objectives. For late game team fights, Trundle works best as the follow-up engage rather than the primary source of the engage. So wait for your team to engage or their team to engage on you, and then you start to fight. Use your ultimate on the tankiest member of their team. Not only will this reduce the most amount of stats and give you the most amount of tanky stats, but as your ult deals maximum health damage, you'll even do the most damage. From here, use your pillar to disrupt and separate enemies and keep spamming away with your Q resets. Focus the now squishy tank before everyone else.